She just brings that light that I can't bring.
He kind of makes me more logical and more motivated. You're listening to Opposites Attract with J&T. Stay tuned for... Oh, you gotta be on the... You know.
Freaking people make bums.
SpongeBob watchers, help us out.
No time for apologies and no time for greetings. This is our 4th episode on the high school experience. And this is our bonus episode, which is titled Edumacation. You heard it right. Edumacation.
Edumacation, not education.
Edumacation.
We titled this Edumacation because high school education in itself is its own...
Not on par.
Its own story that we just wanted to dive into for you guys because this is just... It needs some work. It really needs some work. But
anyway, the episodes have been flowing. We've been doing the freshman. We've been doing the sophomore year. And then soon to come junior. And then, of course, senior year. And between those, you know, obviously there is 7 days in a week. But there's only 4 high school classes in high school. Right. So we just wanted to put those bonus episodes and really encapsulate kind of what goes on in all of those 4 years and the education. It's you think you go into, I mean, giving college, Jesus Christ, you know, prerequisites are terrible. But high school, it's like the whole 4 years is prerequisites. I'm just gonna say prereq, so I don't sound so I sound. See, I'm edumacation.
You're edumacated.
Yeah. What? But we're not going to talk and rant about how terrible the education was. We're going to more go in depth in our experiences and how much of a care we actually gave to our education.
Right.
Education.
I guess I'll just start with my side of the story. I've always been this, like, perfectionist, goody two-shoes kind of girl. Like, that's been my shtick for my whole life, I think. I think it just, like, my dad was always the one that taught me, like, always work hard, always try to do the absolute best you can possibly do in everything. And so that's what I did. And for all my school years, I've gotten, like, A's. I'm really good at school. I was always really good at school. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I got A's. I worked really hard on all my projects and all my homework assignments. I mean, I was naturally smart, so I didn't have to work too hard, which was nice, but I did have to work harder than if I would have slacked off.
You were just orientated to that type of teaching.
Yes, exactly, yeah. Okay, yeah, smart is not the right word. I was naturally able to be taught. I was naturally able to learn from the teachers that, like, the way that they did it.
It was your style.
That was my style of learning, and that's why going to college, I enjoy it because I learn well when I'm in a classroom setting. Always have.
How did you realize that you, besides the results, how did you learn that you work well?
I think it was just like things clicked for me during class when teachers would explain them. So like whenever they would like talk about, so like I guess for example math, I've always been really good at math, and my teachers, when they explain something to me and it would click easier. Like, but I'm also I have to have it visual and auditory and like well explained for it to fully click, I guess. I've learned a lot about my learning style because like if a teacher ever just talked out loud and like didn't show me, oh my God, I have a hard time with that. Like visualizing.
What was the second thing?
I have to hear it as well as see it. Is that what you mean?
Okay, and then the third?
The third thing was I paid attention really well. I'm good at listening. I would goof off here and there with my friends or whatever, but I mean, for the most part, I stayed focused in class and tried my best and didn't just like give no craps, you know what I mean?
Yeah, so you guys heard it here first. The first and the third are kind of similar. And it's clicking if you really have that type of connection with the subject and how the teacher is presenting it, then that's a first sign of working well in this classroom environment.
Yes.
Second thing is that you
Understand your learning style.
What was the second thing?
The second thing was I learn well. I have to hear it as well as see it.
Yeah.
But that kind of is like, but people learn differently. So if
I
it's-
know, but like for you, I mean,
For me-
if people can, kind of add up, they can, like, because you kind of want to figure these things out early.
right.
So, because I'm just gonna go with my experiences. It was I didn't get good grades, right? I got really bad grades in sophomore year, and junior year was the hardest for me. I think junior year. I don't know about you, babe, but junior
was fucking rough.
So it was hard.
It was rough.
So hard. So I did pretty bad there. That was the first time I actually failed a class, and to be fair, the teacher was not on my side. For the second semester, we kind of made like a little bet that I would do my homework. Just turn it in, just literally in general, just turn in your homework. And like first day of the semester, I did not turn in my homework. So she just like literally like failed me on purpose. She would always like, if I would talk in a group of people, she would move me, that kind of,
Oh, yeah.
that fantastic treatment.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, junior year was tough. So that made sense why I got bad grades in that.
I even struggled. I mean, it might sound stupid, but I had never gotten a B before in a class, and then my first B was in my junior year because it was that hard. Like, and I know that sounds really stupid to all the people that are like, "Oh, you got a B on that,"
Mm-hmm.
But coming from somebody who had A's all of high school and middle school, like it was really weird. But yeah, junior year was tough.
Yeah. Anyway, so senior year, I realized that I don't learn the way I do. I just really thought I was dumb.
He's not dumb. Plot twist. He's not dumb.
Yeah, you're right. She's right. I'm autistic. And
No.
what is the other word? Dyslexic.
You are not either
I
of
am
those.
not either of those. So don't just because you're a goldfish and you can't climb a tree. I love the saying.
Mm-hmm.
This is what like made me not kill myself. Just got deep.
I don't even know how
I'm kidding.
to.
I didn't want to. Who knows? Maybe. In senior year, I was bedridden at the end of the second semester, and I had a good 3 months of work to catch up on. And obviously, my teachers realized a lot of the work was busy work, really. And that was honestly like, you'd be surprised on how much of the homework and work was busy work.
Yeah.
I mean, projects, the big game for your grade.
Mm-hmm.
That was busy work. I mean, my teachers emailed me like, yeah, this does not pertain to anything. Even in
Yeah, like the small project that they would give you.
Usually high school education is just so you can go on to the next year.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really just, other than that, it's pointless.
Right.
But they were saying even the projects don't matter at all. Anyway,
what did we even learn?
I don't know. Do you guys remember, like, if you're a sophomore, do you remember what you? No, you don't.
A sophomore.
Like, even if they are a sophomore and they can go back to freshman year, do you think?
Do you remember what you learned?
No,
no,
you don't. I mean, sure you remember one of those formulas.
I remember the Pythagorean theorem, and I will never forget it, but I don't know when I will ever use it.
Pythagorean theorem. Is that a squared equals b squared or plus b squared equals c squared?
Mm-hmm.
Bam, bitch. Now it's explicit.
We tried.
Anyway, I feel like I'm backtracking. Yeah, so I was bedridden, 3 months of homework. Some teachers cut off the supply a little bit. But, I had a dilemma, and I was like, geez, okay, I haven't been in a classroom for 3 months, and I don't even understand why I thought that would, like, help me to finish all this homework.
Right.
But, I mean, I actually just had to just do my due diligence. I sat there, and, I busted out 4 A's and 2 B's. And
Yeah, you freaking killed it.
And I had AP classes, too. I don't know why. I took AP classes just to be with the cool kids.
Really?
Because I was so tired of these idiots. Seriously, just idiots.
Yeah.
They were idiots. They didn't care about school. I mean, if you gave them a chance, they would get a pipe out and probably smoke some weed in the back of the classroom. I don't know. I just wanted to get serious because I was tired of feeling dumb and like belittled. So I took those classes, and I still was, I was belittled even more because all these people are so smart. Like, frick, it sucked. But, I mean, it felt good. Like, my hardest subject was AP History, and
I didn't take AP History.
it was like you get a very specific part in history, a part that was pretty, like, famous and well-heard, but, like, a specific part within that time period. And we just learned everything in depth. We learned about the government, and it was kind of like civics. What is civics?
I have no idea.
Well, if civics is like understanding like I think it was AP American government.
Yeah, that sounds right.
But it wasn't American government. I think it was AP government.
It was
government history of government.
It was AP US History.
AP. Well, that makes no sense because anyway, what we learned in the class was the government, how it works. I mean, we literally had to learn China's government, the parliament.
Oh my gosh, that's so exhausting.
Everything. I mean, like, all you needed in that class was a good memory, really. And then we had to learn about policies and what year this happened. And so it was quite difficult for me, and you really had no chances to come back through a project. Frick.
Projects.
Projects? I think it's because I was so set on Edumacation being the title. You couldn't come back with homework. Usually you can get like D's and F's on your tests and like at least come out with a C somehow with
the projects,
with like homework and projects. But we really did not get the chance for that. And when I was bedridden, I had to come up. Remember in the last episode, I was talking about how at the end how I got interested in marijuana and versus opiates, and I did a project about that.
I remember you doing.
I did a whole presentation, and I mean, these are like I had like one of the smartest kids or girls in our school. I think most of the smartest people in our school was girls. So yeah, she was very smart. My God, pretty annoying. Everyone hated her too. Her name was just kidding. She even did terrible. I mean, I was competing with a lot of pretty...
Wait, you didn't get a good grade on that project?
No, I got a perfect grade.
You did?
Yeah. I'm sorry, I keep procrastinating to say it. But yeah, I got a perfect grade. I mean, I want to tell this because... I want to share this because, my experiences really belittled me, made me feel like I wasn't like, without high school education, you won't be able to get in college, and then you won't get your $80,000 a year or $40,000 a year, whatever you freaking people make, bums.
Yeah, I don't like how high school goes
I'm
about it.
making $150. I'm just kidding. I'm poor too. But the whole point was, it was really, to me, emotion doesn't get me well. I mean, I still feel it and well aware of it, and then I might pop. I don't cry that much. But I did still feel that pain, and it was really sucky to know that you were that dumb person.
But that's the thing, baby.
And it took a freaking surgery that put me on a bed. I couldn't sit, and I couldn't lay down, so I slept on my side, and that's all I did. I watched movies, and it got to a point where I had to do homework. And when I did, I did math so well. I
just want to say, I was there throughout this whole experience, babe. Just hear me out. You are smart, and that's not because wait.
Come on,
I know everybody's
watching.
I know that everybody watching is like, "What do you mean he's smart?"
Awkward.
Smartness was never determined by grades, and I saw the effort, and like you bounced back from like that deficit so well, and you were bedridden. Like that was further than smart. Like, I know that it sounds like people probably listening, you probably feel like, why is this important?
This is a perfect circle, you guys. Look at that.
Oh my. Anyways.
Like, this guy's actually.
No, he just doesn't like taking compliments. Anyways, I just called you out. Anyways, he worked so hard, and you could see that it wasn't just about him being smart and making sure he got good grades. It was just like his determination and his work ethic, when it's on par, is so good. Like,
I mean, if you look at this radius, it's the same. Like, it was so good because I finally was able to connect with myself. I was finally to find my own way of learning, because you go on YouTube and you would look up every single video, and there was a lot of things you just could not learn, or it wasn't covered, and you kind of had to find someone doing it, a very hard version of it or an easy version of it, and kind of just piece it together. And I found out how I learned very well. And we kind of are talking about this episode not only to brag about how well we did over here, but I just think it's so important for you to learn your style of learning, because people don't learn how to learn. I mean, there is a way
There is a way to learn.
You got to learn how to learn.
And then people think you think you're stupid because you aren't getting good grades, and you think that you just are not going to amount to anything, and all these things. This is one thing I really hate about high school, and I felt this pressure too. I think we all did, is that pressure to get good grades so then you can get into a good college and then you have a good life. Like, it's not that black and white. Like, high school makes it seem like if you have bad grades, then you're freaking doomed for life, you know? And
it makes you feel like there's no other options.
And it's like, obviously good grades are good. Like, you get into good colleges, and if that's your route, then that's fine. But it's not your route, then that's also fine. I don't like how high school does this, where it leads you into this kind of like one track way. And like they say that they have like, oh, you can go to like, you can join the military, or you can do like trade school, or you can do this, you know? And it's
trade
like,
school, sorry, I keep interrupting you. But
yes, you do.
Military week. Thank you for supporting me by believing conspiracy theories.
Oh God.
They're not theories. Bush did it. Trade school. Dude, you go 2 years and all of a sudden you have $100,000 paying job.
Yeah, that's
and
interesting.
You know what's another cool thing? Like I'm gonna go a little bit social issues on this. There is no protests at trade schools. There's none.
Right. Okay.
What do you think that mean? What does that mean to you, Taylor?
I don't know. I'm not really sure.
There's not a bunch of butt sacks complaining. That's what I think. Because sorry, I don't know why I mentioned that. I had a thing.
Anyways, I wanted to like say that it was hard for all of us, me included, because I felt that like extreme pressure. And not only was my dad being like, you should, you know, do your best, do your best, do your best. I was like, so I was putting that so much pressure on myself already from my parents, but it was also school that was pressuring me to do really well. And then you don't even know how many times I've cried over like an assignment, or like stayed up really late trying to finish something, or working like so hard and then not getting the grade you want. And it's like, it's so freaking exhausting, because you just, like for me, I like worked myself into the ground so many times because I was trying so hard to do well, and it paid off. But like, I feel like I missed out on like being able to let myself breathe a little bit, because let me tell you, grades are great if you can get them, good grades. But if you struggle, like that doesn't make you stupid. It just makes you not learning the way that they teach, and that's totally fine. And I think that I don't like how much pressure it puts on kids, because you see, especially in high school, it's just a lot, especially trying to get into college, and especially they say you have to do this or your future is freaking messed up. Like, it's not how it works.
It's true.
And it hurts to talk about a little bit, because I remember exactly like how I felt, and it's like so tiring. And like sometimes teachers don't match what you need to learn, you know?
Real quick announcement, you guys. We're not really sure who we're talking to. We would like to talk to all 1 million of you, but we want to know what demographic we're talking about, because we want to be able to share our experiences and actually give you something that you can digest. But if we are talking in the sense of older parents that have children, like, doesn't matter how old they are. I mean, you could always learn how to learn. But when they're like toddlers, I would suggest, because you know I have a little brother right now, and my dad's like, I want to force him to play drums. Doesn't really work like that.
No.
But when he was younger, though, my dad was like, you need to do this, and didn't allow him to play drums. So the whole thing, people don't really realize it, but they don't let their kids to be kids, and that doesn't allow them to express their gifts.
Right.
And if they don't express their gifts when they're young, and then if you don't jump on that opportunity, they kind of just forget about it, and then you kind of have to force them to go into that. So that's one thing you have to look out for when they're like toddlers and young, because when you get that, they could easily get 10,000 hours in by the time they're like 14 or 12 or whatever, how much effort they put into it, and they'll be masters. They will be like they'll be at the top.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's how old, like, you need sports players. That's how they start. They start just super young.
I started when I was in 5th grade. I played volleyball from 5th grade on, and I wish it would have been good to start even earlier. Maybe I would have made it even more of like
usually the way it works is, doesn't matter. It does matter what, it's keeping that passion going that fuels you to put more practice into
Right.
it. You go from 4 hours a week to 40.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what, and I'm saying this because I really think everyone is a genius in their own way.
Amen.